Alright, so this starts out a pretty normal match. I'm like getting my rocks and everything because he doesn't have a spinner and he has two things weak to rocks. And then I'm just going to go for the Scald, super effective, maybe get the burn, all that good stuff. And I'm like, okay, Regirock usually carries Thunder Wave and then two attacks and Stealth Rock, something like that. He's definitely going to switch. I'm going to go for the Earthquake on the Jinx, right, or something like that. And I just go for the Earthquake here. I probably could have gone to Masharna on this turn, but I'm not really sure about that. I just went for the Scald, and luckily I got the burn. And then I'm like, alright, no point staying in when I'm toxic and going for the Scald or the Earthquake, so I'm going to switch. And, yeah, that's what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure I go to Masharna now, which I probably should have done the turn before to get him toxic, but Masharna possibly is Heal Bell, so it's not even the biggest deal in the world. He pulls a switch as well into Scolipede, and I'm like, okay, looking at his team, it looks like more of a spike setter and not as an offensive setter, so I'm going to stay in and take the Mega Horn. I thought he would actually predict me to switch, but I just stayed in and took him out with a Psychic, which is very good. And on this turn, he brings in his Primeape, and it's a critical play because I just went for the Moonlight, and he goes for the U-turn and gets a crit. Now, I don't know why, I really don't, but I thought he was banded by the way he played it, but so right now I'm thinking that he's banded, right? And I bring in my Skuntank, and I'm like, okay, he's going to go for the taunt. I mean, he's going to go for the Thunder Wave. I'll taunt him. He might go for the Baton Pass. I'll just taunt him. And then Pursuit, you know, all the fun stuff that Skuntank does. And now he's going to be at less than half when he switches back in. And that's really good because Masharna's a bulky ass wall, and Skuntank is doing his job. So here I really don't have anything to take on Primeape anymore. And then I don't know why, but I thought this was banded damage. So I'm like, okay, I'm dealing with a banded Primeape here. And I'm just gonna let Seismitoad die because I don't want anything to take a banded hit, right? And yeah, so he's getting his defense drops and all, and I'm gonna bring in a Molga right here, and I'm like, okay, I'll just go for the Air Slash, take him out, whatever. But he's gonna switch into Regirock now. Personally, I think that was the biggest fault of the game. I don't know what I was thinking. I should have just Volt switched. Had I Volt switched, I mean, it wasn't the biggest deal in the world because if I didn't out-of-volt switch to Masharna or Seismitoad, and I lost one of them to Hex and the other one just because I actually lost Seismitoad because I lost Masharna to Hex. So, I mean, I'm not blaming it on Hex, but that does suck. So I have to go into Sock and get Thunder Wave, which really does suck. And I'm going to pull a double switch into Skuntank, predicting him to go into this, which was pretty good on my part. Now I'm like, okay, he's not going to want to stay in on a taunt. He's obviously going to switch. So I just go straight for the Pursuit instead of taunting, and I kill him. So that was good play. I'm not playing bad here. He brings in his Primeape, and I'm like, okay, I have nothing to take this on, so I'm just going to go for the Crunch. It's going to be at -1, so that's going to be good, and it actually does quite a lot of damage. Now here's the first part. This is just where I mess up, okay? I'm not even going to say anything. I thought he would predict me to go for the Sucker Punch, and I went for the Pursuit. I was just being, I was being too cocky. There was no reason to go for the Pursuit right there. Okay, there was. I probably would do it again, but whatever. And I'm like, okay, he's banded. I'll bring in a Molga, go for the Volt Switch now, but a little do I know that he is indeed Scarfed. And now I go into Kangaskhan. I'm like, okay, he's going to switch into Regirock, predicting the Fake Out, so I go for the Earthquake. But no, he goes for the Close Combat and takes me out. And that's just going to be the game. I mean, Sock can take a hit, but Sock is not going to be able to kill 3 Pokemon when he's paralyzed, and yeah, so I feel like I felt so incredibly stupid after this battle. I had a fool made out of me in my mind, but I guess it wasn't that bad. People said it wasn't that bad, but I felt it, and I was just humiliated. So that was this battle that I felt I could share, and goodbye.